Hi everyone, this is Melody with Melly Bees, and I'm going to show you today how to make a basic pleated face mask. So this is the pattern. So you can cut your piece of paper or your fabric 7.5 inches long by 7 inches wide, and then at 1.25, 2.25, and so on, you're going to make a mark. So this is 1.25 and 2.25, and then that is going to make a pleat. And the CDC recommends that you need to make these at least 4 fabric layers thick for filtration protection. So I'll come back in a little bit with the actual fabric. I'll be using this pretty shell print. Alrighty, good luck. Okay, so this is going to be a little hard to film, but so at those tick marks here, I did itty bitty little notch like that, so you can see where it needs to go. Okay, so this is the one with all the thicknesses that are appropriate, and you just take it and fold it together. And I don't know if I'll be able to actually fold it for you so you can see, but you can see the little tick marks, and you just take one tick mark and fold it over, and you'll get something that looks like this. I know that's kind of thick, but yeah. And then on the other side, I already have this one pinned. Make sure that they don't overlap. So you want them to just meet each other like that. So none of them are overlapping, because then it would be very, very thick. And you'll want to get a bigger gauge sewing needle so that it'll run over this no problem. So to edge it, you want to get something called bias tape. This one's actually a little too thin, but even Walmart sells this stuff. Hold on, there you go. So bias tape is pre-cut like this with the 2 little folds, and you just kind of sandwich the fabric in there. Like I said, this one's too thin. I would, just to make it easy, I would suggest like 1/2 inch. This is like 1/4 inch, and it's too thin. But you just kind of sandwich it in there, and then that way you don't have to finish it with a serger or anything like that. So it'll kind of look like that when it's done, if that makes sense. And you can put the elastic band in there as well, so that it kind of comes out at the end and then does its circle this way. Okay, hope that makes sense. Okay, I'm sorry this is taking me so long to get back to you with it. So this is what I'm using for this type, is the Sewology elastic, and it's specifically braided. So it is very thin, but it's still not a cord. I know it's kind of hard to see, but you can see how small that is. Okay, so what I did was I took this and I stay stitched, which means you just run a quick little stitch over this here, okay, to help hold all the pleats in place. And then I took bias tape and I just sandwiched it in there along the edges here. So this is top and bottom. And the reason that I did these first is because these ugly little frayed edges, that's going to be hidden inside the bias tape that goes this way, that holds the elastic. So I'm going to stop the video here and I'll get back to you. Okay, so once you have the pleats, you want to stay stitch them along here, and that'll just keep the pleats together while you're sewing. And then you want to take your bias tape and sandwich it around the top and the bottom. There's really no right way, whichever one is doing that. You want to take more bias tape, cut it longer than this, and stay stitch it down like that. Okay, and then you want to take your elastic coming out this way, And I just took a pre-made mask and measured the elastic on here, and not stretched. It was 6 1/4 for an adult size, and so I cut mine a little bit longer at 7 so that I could have extra tail length over here to just hold on to while I was sewing, and then I just trimmed it down once I had sewn it. So I just back stitched over that, and you want to make sure that you do it on this side of the stitching line so that it's not seen when you fold it over, okay? And so now we're going to fold this part down and sandwich it over the elastic and stitch it. Feel free to iron it, do whatever you need, pin it, just to help hold everything in place. Now I'm using a thinner piece of bias tape, so it makes it a little bit harder, but this is just what I had. So I would suggest going with a wider strip of bias tape. This one I think is 1/4 of an inch. I would suggest using a 1/2 or even larger if you can find it. So I'm going to do this part and kind of show you what to do here. Okay, so what you're going to do on this next step is you're going to fold this excess down, so it looks like that, okay? And then you're going to fold it over, so that helps just sandwich the raw edges of this side in there. And that way you have a nice clean edge, nothing's going to fray or anything. Now, if you notice that this is trying to peekaboo out right here, just kind of force it more in there, and that way it shouldn't fray or come out or anything like that. Feel free to iron at any point in time. Okay, so I have sewn this, and no, it's not very pretty, but it is functional. I was not able to catch that, as you see, but that's okay. It would bother me if I was going to sell this one, but I'm not. But you want to make sure that when you sew the elastic, we're sewing it on this side, on the front, and where it faces that direction. Because when we put it on, having the elastic go this way around the ear will actually help hold this part of the mask closer to the face, and that's why it's like that. So here's our mask. This side's messed up because I did that one wrong, and the elastic's a little too long, but I'll redo that, and then I'll be giving this one away. And so it is just a very simple and soft mask.